Thanks for tuning into the podcast that says what people are thinking out loud. We are holding elected and public officials accountable. Hold on, because you are about to hear more of
The Sammy C Show.
Do you want to talk about it or be about it?
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
Hey everybody, this is Sammy with the Sammy C Show, and I just wanted to introduce you to someone very special who I met at the courthouse today. Why don't you tell the viewers who you are and what you were doing today?
Hello, my name is Maria Elena Gordon, and I am a community activist, poet, song lyricist, and I went to the courthouse to conduct a small protest against the injustice that was committed with the case of Patrick Crusius, the Wal-Mart shooter, who committed one of the biggest mass murders in the United States. And I was out there with some signs, and some of them were to eventually reprimand James Montoya, the DA.
And tell us why. What do you feel he did wrong, or give us a little bit more detail?
The reason that I think that he should be reprimanded and asked to resign is because I believe he committed a tremendous legal malpractice when he took the option of the death penalty for Patrick Crusius. Patrick Crusius was already convicted over 90 felonies in the federal court system a couple years back.
So he was actually sentenced to 90 consecutive life sentences, correct?
I believe so. And now they were going to try him at the state level. The acts that he committed were atrocious, horrific in nature. And the Texas Penal Code needs to be changed so that if someone goes into a community with terroristic attacks on a community because of their race or being a minority in the border, such as what he did in El Paso, Texas, it should be an automatic death penalty option and not negotiable. No plea bargain, no playing politics. This case took almost 6 years to try in the federal and the state. And we are seeing tremendous hate crimes throughout the United States, more so than ever. And we need to stop. We need to reflect. And we need to look as a society that in order for us to exist as a nation and our military intact with a great commander-in-chief that is not going to put the soldiers or their families in harm's way, and there has to be integrity, and there has to be top priority in security and securing classified information. And what happened here is emboldening the white supremacists in the United States and the domestic terrorism that is occurring. And if a DA can just all of a sudden decide, oh, guess what? The death penalty is not an option. Yes, you killed 23 people and injured 22 innocent lives. From elderly women picking up their medicine to a child, their parents. These people don't have a say. And their families were placed a gag order, which is one of the worst things that could have ever happened. There was a tough DA that was willing to go all the way with the death penalty. But in this country, we have a democracy, and voters decide who their DA is going to be. And this DA, Mr. James Montoya, has shown weakness, has shown debilitation in the court system.
What do you think about what he did? Because obviously it was reported in the news that Mr. Crusius was given a plea deal. He pled guilty, and he got a 1 life sentence. How do you feel about it taking 5 years, 8 months to give him that when they could have done that 5 years ago?
Well, that's it. It doesn't take a legal expert or for you to go to law school to know that one life sentence for 23 lives, 22 innocent people injured, dramatically disabled, with a high-powered war weapon that was used, is definitely legal malpractice. And he needs to resign, and he
Now, we had
needs
a little
to
bit of
be reprimanded. The Texas Penal Code has to change, and there has to be changes to protect us in the future from such attacks and from such legal malpractice.
So we had talked about this a little bit, and this is where I'm kind of give a little bit of my opinion, right? And so I've been following this case a very long time. I actually was there August 3rd of 2019 in the Reunification Center. So I volunteered for 2 days. We were there when the families were informed of their lost loved ones losing their lives. I mean, we were giving water and food to all the law enforcement agents that were there. And so I have firsthand knowledge of what happened that day. And we saw the FBI agents going in there. And when they would come back out of the crime scene, you could see the death in their faces, right? And so 5 years is a long time. The question is why? Is it just Montoya who decided to make this change abruptly, or were there other players involved? Was Judge Medrano possibly involved in it? Was the defense team, Joe Spencer, involved? Because I don't know about you, but to me it looks like everything changed from day to night when Montoya took over.
In 2020, we went through a worldwide pandemic, so a lot of the court system closed. It may have delayed, but they did triumph during those very crucial years of the pandemic on a federal level. The ball was dropped on the federal level because Attorney General Barr should have given him the death penalty and taken care of this situation. But with a sentiment in this country that you can violate civil rights on minorities, military personnel, military history, classified documents, our nation is in a crisis and it is in trouble, and our courts are in trouble. And we need, as a democracy and voters, we need to make sure that we are putting people that have integrity and the best interest of our fellow man. Because hatred is not the way for us to handle business, and discrimination and everything else. We are better than that. We are Americans, and we are a country of immigrants. And a lot of us have European DNA, indigenous DNA, African American DNA. There's no such thing as a full-blooded Anglo-Saxon.
Well, there's not a full-blooded anything really with people all over the world intermixing with anything. But at the end of the day, there were 23 humans who were killed, right? And people say, well, because they were of this race or that race, they mean less. Absolutely not. Every person.
This young man, Patrick Crusius, targeted Mexicans
Correct.
at the border because there was this sentiment that we were being invaded by migrants. And that emboldened him to come with his weapon of war that he was allowed to purchase, that his mother called the police because she was concerned of her 21-year-old son having that type of weapon in his bedroom. And the atrocities that happened on El Paso, Texas, our border town, were horrendous, and it affected us all.
And it's going to affect us in the future. This is definitely not a short-term thing. Those people who lost loved ones and who have been drugged through the court system for 5 years, they're barely going to start to get some sort of closure. This is going to be in the back of their mind forever. And time is money, right? And all this time and all this taxpayer money that's gone to them, do you think that these family members are going to be thankful that it's finally over? That he did not get the death penalty? What do you think?
We live in a predominantly Catholic, Mexican-American community. I believe the Catholic Church is against the death penalty. So you have to examine your heart to see the Bible does justify the death penalty. It is in Genesis, Leviticus, Exodus. And so a lot of them may have wanted him to do life sentences, to, I guess, feel the pain of being incarcerated. However, I personally believe that he needed to get the death penalty. There's a lot of minorities in Texas that are always being executed for less than what this young man did.
So let's take a look at here. You have Judge Medrano, right? You have the DA Montoya. What would you say? Why would they do this if they are of Hispanic descent?
Money, power, and influence rules
Absolutely.
the legal system.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of money when it comes to the death penalty in Texas, and it's an automatic appeal. Therefore, politics plays a great deal, and also the money purse that goes into the courts, especially when it's treated like a business, like with insensitivity. As James Montoya said, the families need closure. They need it to be over. I want him to get the death penalty, but the families asked me not to. So he should have used a bigger perspective and seen what was best for El Paso Strong, for our El Paso community, for our border, for the Texas Penal Code, as he is an officer of the court. This can never happen again. We cannot raise children to be afraid of their talents, of their gifts, of their abilities because of their race. That they can deter from becoming generals in the military. That they can become officers. That they can become professionals, college educated, even if they're poor kids with Title I schools. That is why education is very important, and we mustn't violate any civil rights of anyone. So him being Hispanic, Chicano, he had a duty to represent us all and to know that he needed to put a stop to future white supremacists that may want to cause us harm, or terrorists that may want to cause us harm here in the border. The death penalty is an option. It needs to be an option. It needs to be on the penal code. So this can never be negotiated or plea bargained again with the lives of human beings, of innocent human beings and minorities, which we will be the majority in Texas. And I think that that is why the fight is so strong in the parties and the talk of civil war. When you don't get your way, you cry baby. And now you're going to say you're going to secede from the Union or from the United States as a party? Are you kidding me?
Now, we had talked a little bit about the previous district attorney, and you had mentioned that you were in favor of him asking for the death penalty. And of course, that is former district attorney Bill Hicks. You want to talk to us a little bit about that?
I was a delegate with the Republican Party. I got to see Mr. Hicks in action. He was a very nice man with integrity, had the best interests of the community. I voted for Mr. Hicks. He went to Renteria's death penalty assignment in Texas to watch him pass on. And he would have done the same for Patrick Crusius. He would have walked with Patrick to see him pass on. He was strong. Mr. James Montoya has shown nothing but weaknesses. And we do not need this in our border town.
Maria, I just want to thank you so much for taking time to speaking with me. I mean, I walked by the courthouse and I was drawn to you, right? And we had this conversation off camera. There was something that you were wearing that attracted me to you. You want to share a little bit about what that was with our listeners?
Thank you very much for taking this interview. I think what did it was my cap that I was wearing. It was a Marine Corps veteran female cap that I got at the VA. They don't sell those very often. And so I thought it was appropriate to wear it because we as veterans, Hispanic females and males, we can never be afraid of white supremacy or domestic violence in the sense because of our race or our gender or who we are as people. And the main thing is do not be afraid to speak up as a minority here in Texas and in the border. And do not be afraid to be kind to people that need your help, whether it's in schools, in your profession, in the churches. There's so much we can do. We can volunteer, we can do community service in many capabilities, and our children need good role models and they need mentors. And this young man, if he would have had the proper attention, this could have been prevented. And I pray for him, and I hope that he repents and that he feels bad for what he did to all those innocent lives. And I hope that he changes and stops hating Mexicans, because Mexicans are the most wonderful people in the world with their cuisine and their family traditions and their family values and their faith in God. Blessed are the poor, for they shall see God. And they have great faith.
Maria, thank you so much. Your words are just amazing. And just to touch on one last thing, as a veteran myself, I know that a lot of things happen, not just to veterans, but to people. And mental health is something that we don't talk enough about. And obviously somebody like Crusius, who has that much hate and anger, there's obviously something wrong with him. And it does not excuse what he did, the heinous crimes, but we have to take care of each other. And if we do have friends or family members who are not quite there and they need the support, let's give it to them.
Yes. And Semper Fi, Marines.
Hoorah!